Hey everybody, Simone here with Bulletproof Business Growth, as always with some ideas and insights what to pay attention to when you're growing and scaling your business. So it's 2025 and most of you will have to hire this year. You'll have to get the right people on the bus so they can help you figure out where the bus is going. And of course that means hiring those A players. So today I want to actually debunk some myths. So I want to talk about Gen Z and how they can be your super team. So this is what happened. Recently, I went to a conference and most of the people there were seasoned small business owners, been in the business for a long time. And, invariably we end up talking about talent and hiring, and almost every single conversation that I had ended up in everybody just expressing their frustration about working with Gen Z. And some of them went as far as to say that they would rather not hire and do everything themselves or be smaller than hire Gen Z. So if this is where you are, I want to be clear here, because that kind of means you can forget about growing or having your business run smoothly without you. So let's have an honest conversation here. Look, I get it. I mean, we work with a ton of people, and many are super frustrated with the Gen Z workforce because we have these young upstarts that have a completely different set of goals and expectations and priorities than you do. Then, older generations have just functioned really differently. So what you're feeling is like there's a lot of entitlement, there's very short attention spans, and this constant need for validation and feedback, which seems like this never-ending headache. So here's the thing, though, is what I'm going to say here, and hear me out, but I'm going to say get over it, because the reality here is Gen Z is not only your biggest talent pool, they also have a whole host of superpowers that, if harnessed correctly, they can absolutely help you take your business to new heights. The question here, though, is are you willing to change? Are you willing to put in the effort that it takes to understand them and unlock their value? And I see a lot of people already like rolling their eyes and go, oh my God, do I have to understand them? But you do. And that's just kind of the way it goes. You can stay complaining and stuck and not get what you need, or you can work with what you got and actually make it work. So, because here's the really, really good news, and I hope you're still listening, but what makes them work will work with anybody. So this will make your business better. This will make your team better no matter what. So it's not like you're just going to put in all this effort and do all this new different stuff and this extra stuff for them. Honestly, this is stuff you should be doing anyway for your existing team, no matter what their generation, so that they can perform at their best. Because here's your superpower. Your superpower is, or you're going to get to, if you can reframe this narrative around Gen Z, and instead of complaining about, everything that they lack, you can tap into their unique strengths, and you can really figure out how to leverage those strengths to supercharge your growth, boost your bottom line, and future-proof your company, because there's more to come where this came from already. And look, I get it. I mean, the stereotypes about Gen Z are super frustrating. They're these digital natives who grew up in this world of constant stimulation, which also means they're really used to instant gratification. And that's not necessarily how business works. They job hop every 18 months. They have sky high expectations. And God forbid you forget to give them constant praise and validation. And I know that's, for a lot of small business owners or seasoned business owners, that's enough to have them get their head spinning, and that's enough to make them not want to hire and rather scale down or do things by themselves because they just don't want to deal with it. And you know what? If that's where you're at and that's how you want it to be, all the power to you. But if you still have this dream of growing and scaling your business, and you don't want to do it all by yourself, and you want your business running smoothly without you so you can focus on other stuff, you need other people. So here's the thing, all those weaknesses, all this stuff that everybody's complaining about can actually be superpowers if you know how to harness this stuff correctly. I mean, think about this, digital fluency. I mean, wouldn't it be awesome if you had somebody on your team who can just help you navigate through the ever-changing landscape of tech, of social media, of e-commerce, online marketing, all the stuff that many of us don't really want to deal with. And the really good news is their hunger for growth and development, they want the training and the development opportunities. And, you know, this need for feedback, I mean, it's something that I've been preaching for forever. It is the key to building a highly engaged, highly performing team. So if those are the pieces that are holding you back, think again, because those are the pieces that you want to implement anyway to make sure that you get the highest value and satisfaction out of your existing team that may not be Gen Z. And then you can add people and you can build this culture that actually works with all those pieces. So the secret here is really around you reframing your mindset. So instead of thinking that they're this liability, I would encourage you to get to a place where you can look at them as they're your secret weapon. And all it takes is you speaking the same language. So because they got innovation and agility in spades, they're future forward thinking. And this is what you need for your business to stay growing and relevant. So you can't afford to ignore this piece. So, all right. So with this stage set, how do you deal with this? How do you do this without losing your mind when to you a lot of this stuff is counterintuitive? And it'll come back to doing a lot of the things that we talk about a lot. You've heard me talk about the 4 It's, heard me talk about the 5 C's. Those are some really big key pieces. And of course, having clear goals and expectations, having really clear definitions, because this generation wants clarity and they want to be given the tools that they need so they can do a great job, because that's actually what they want to do. So number 1 starts with having super clear expectations and roles, because they don't do ambiguous and undefined. That's just not something they want to deal with. They'd rather walk. So they want to know, if you followed me for a while, you've probably heard me talk about be hiring ready, that RQ. Are you ready to actually help people set up their career so that they can be successful? Because that is actually your responsibility as a business owner. They have the responsibility to deliver for you, and you have the responsibility to help them grow. So that piece is really big, really clear goals and expectations, really clear definitions, and giving them the tools that they need to do an awesome job, which brings us to number 2, which is invest in onboarding and training. It is criminal how many businesses don't have any clear structure for when a new team member comes on board. This poor person shows up first day, there's nobody to greet them, there's nobody to show them around, there's like they barely get a key card, whatever they need to get in the building, or their online package if they're remote or hybrid, and nobody really takes the time to set them up right. And this is criminal in general. And look, you're investing a ton of money into this person, and you're going to invest some sort of training in them, time, money, energy. And wouldn't it be great if that all paid off, and if this person didn't walk out after a while because they're like, oh my God, this is a total mess. I don't want to be here. I can't see myself succeed, because that's how they're thinking. So you really want to make sure that you invest in solid onboarding and training, because as a generation, Gen Z wants development opportunities. So give them the tools, give them the resources and the mentorship that they need to thrive. And here's the deal. This is not just giving them SOPs or some training on how to do the things that you do in your company. So don't just stop with the nuts and bolts, because the nuts and bolts are only, honestly, a very small part of what you do all day long. So you need to precede this stuff with your mission, your vision, and your values, and defining and guarding your culture. So when you think about, most of you have heard me say this before, there's a great Harvard Business Review study that says something like 93% of employees have no idea what the company's long-term vision is, what the overall business strategy is, and how they fit into it. 93% of people. So that is a humongous loss of opportunity right there. And you don't want to be part of that. So we want to make sure that we give everybody a really clear roadmap, that they know exactly what this company does and how they fit into it and how they participate in that. They need to know exactly where this company is going and how they fit into this and what the opportunities are that they can contribute to. And they also need to know, who are we? What do we stand for? What are our standards? What's this culture that I'm coming into? The more they get the why behind what you do, the more engaged and invested they'll be. So this is, I know at some point this was sort of a nice to have if I get to it. This is a must have at this point. This is not this nice little woo-woo thing that startups do. Every single business needs to figure out how to have this part of their language and their practice, their everyday practice, so that this is actually something that everybody can steep in and live, so that you can be part of those 7% and hopefully more that actually have a team that can function at a very high level. So that was number 2. And number 3, you want to build a dynamic, collaborative work environment that plays to Gen Z's strengths. So what that also means is ditching those rigid hierarchies and outdated command and control management styles, and instead really get to a place where you empower your young team members to contribute ideas, to take calculated risks, to work together, and to be cross-functional, which means it keeps everybody engaged and excited. They learn from each other. They can cover each other. They'll try things because they feel like this is part of the environment. This is part of what you permit them to do, and part of what you encourage them to do. So that means you actually have people who are playing out their talent. They're showing up at their highest and best use. They are truly living up to their potential, which is really what you want from every single of your team members. So the reward when you do this is you get out of the box thinking, you get really nimble problem-solving people, which all of this gives you a major competitive edge over the rest of your industry. And then number 4, get with providing regular structured feedback. And this is something I preach on all the time, but it's never been more important than now. And again, this is also something that will really help and serve your existing team so that they can really understand, hey, what am I doing right? What should I do more of? When you give feedback, it's not yelling at people. It's not celebrating people's ego. It's just letting them know, hey, this is what works. This is what doesn't work. And let me help you put the two together so we can actually make this work much, much better. So they want the validation and they want the guidance. So it is absolutely on you to make the time for weekly check-ins, for performance review, and having that open dialogue. And don't just tell them what they're doing wrong. You really want to highlight their strengths. You want to celebrate their wins with them and give them a clear roadmap for growth. Having growth plans for every single employee is in your very, very best interest, because now you have people, it's like you're constantly dangling a carrot in front of them and you're going, look, once you get over there, there's a whole slew of new opportunities for you that you can play to. And everybody who's complaining about, oh, these, this generation is so entitled, they don't want to work hard, they don't show up. Well, I would really ask myself, am I giving them, like everything I just talked about, am I giving them these tools so that they can actually show up at their highest level? Because this ongoing support and recognition will keep them motivated, it will keep them loyal, and it will keep them performing at their absolute best. So you don't have people who just bounce every time a better choice comes along next door, but they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel appreciated, which is, look, I mean, that's a really basic human need right there. But they also feel like they really want to give. So friends, the choice really is absolutely yours. You can keep complaining about how difficult Gen Z is, and I guess you just hire a lot of older people who may be jaded, who may have already kind of like lived out their best years. They're not super motivated. They don't really want to hustle. Or you can embrace this and really see them as your secret weapon that can transform your business. Because the reality is, this generation absolutely has superpowers that, if harnessed right, they can drive innovation, they can increase profitability, and future-proof your business for years to come. So really here, what are you waiting for? Start building those onboarding programs, that collaborative work environment, and that feedback-rich culture, that you become the leader, the mentor, the coach, and that's how you're appreciated. And that means you can now bring out the best in your young team members. And trust me, the payoff will be game-changing. You can do it. So look, if you're ready to make this happen, let's do this. And we can help you because we have a killer new training out there, and it's an absolute no-brainer at $97 that really addresses all these pieces that I just brought up in detail. So don't walk, run, get this new training. It's at bulletproofbusinessgrowth.com/scaling blueprint, and I'll also put the URL in the comments. It's absolutely 1000% worth it. Grab those trainings. You can do it literally in a few hours, 2-3 hours. You can be totally done with it, and you'll have a whole new framework that you can use to really use those younger generations at their maximum potential, so that you can get your business running smoothly without you, so you can do the more important stuff. Anyway, I hope this helps. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you next time.